Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. I do have one quick favor before we get to the video that you came here for, and that is very simply this. You see that little red subscribe button below this video? Go ahead, smash that subscribe button. It really does help me. It really does help this channel grow and my audience grow. So go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. And now, here is the video that you came here for. Again, I'll be quick. I could spend an hour on Will Wade because I think it's fascinating. But the bottom line remains is this. Will Wade gets caught 2019. He gets caught on a wiretap by the FBI, reported by Pat Forty at the time, Yahoo. Now he's Sports Illustrated. He gets caught on a wiretap talking about a strong-ass offer for a recruit named Javonte Smart. Ever since then, everybody's asking me, Torres, when is he going to go? When is he fired? When is he this? When is he that? He's a cheater. And what I've said is a couple things. I said, one, I don't think LSU, the fan base, has a thirst to fire him at all. But what I also said was we have to wait for the notice of allegations to come because LSU cannot fire this guy with cause until they know exactly what he's accused of. Last week, the notice of allegations comes. There's this big, scathing, bold headline, major violations, but nobody had any of the details on what they were. Pat Forty didn't have the details. Ross Dellinger, who's a great reporter, by the way, I'm not criticizing Ross. The athletic, big, bold, they had no headline. And so I said, look, until we know what's in that NOA, I don't know what Will Wade's future is. Could be fired, but right now, nothing came out of that NOA. Well, here's the issue. On Saturday, we got details of the NOA. It is as bad as you think, and that was why Will Wade was fired. I'm not going to get into all the details. If this was like an April show, I would probably spend a half an hour on the details of the Will Wade stuff, but let me just say this. I mean, egregious violations of rules, and credit to the NCAA. They got people to talk about it. There was some woman that was a fiance of one of his players who was basically siphoning money off Will Wade like it was nothing. She needed money for this. She needed money for that. Will Wade gave her money for that. She goes, this is a true story. This is in the NCAA document. She goes to buy a car and claims that she has bad credit and needs more for a down payment and hits Will Wade up. And Will Wade's like, I already took care of you. I already paid you. I'm done paying you. So this was the kind of stuff Will Wade was doing. It finally came out in the notice of allegations. And why LSU waited until right now is pretty straightforward. When the allegations first came out in 2019, Will Wade, if you remember, he was suspended for the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament, and he was eventually reinstated, okay? And as part of that reinstatement, here's what his contract said. It said, if I am ever even accused of level 1 or level 2 violations, you can fire me with cause. You don't have to pay me a dime. You don't have to this. You don't have to that. If I'm even accused of level 1, level 2 violations, you can fire me without a dime. And so the question becomes, why did Will Wade get fired this weekend? It's because they got the notice of allegations. That's the NCAA report on what he's accused of. And he was accused of a bunch of major violations. And so that's why LSU did it. They waited until they did not have to pay him. And now they can fire him without cause and they don't owe him a dime. First of all, smart by LSU. Now, could the NCAA still punish him for waiting for so long? It's possible, but they got rid of him. And it was always going to be this way if he was ever actually accused of anything. I waited for the notice of allegations. I don't accuse anyone of anything until there's an actual piece of paper that says what they did. Well, he is guilty of what the NCAA believes are major violations. LSU was able to fire him without cause, and now they don't have to pay him a dime. By the way, from Will Wade's perspective, you can make fun of him. It was actually a really smart move by him. He could have fought and yelled and screamed and whatever and litigated in court over his buyout back in 2019. Instead, he said, you know what? I'm going to ride this thing out. I am going to continue to go ahead and recruit at a high level, win at a high level, and collect big paychecks. So you can make fun of Will Wade, but the way that he structured his contract back in 2019, you can fire me with cause when all this stuff comes out. But until then, I'm going to collect paychecks, and he probably got about $5, $6, $7 million in the bank thanks to LSU because of the way that he restructured his contract. Now, how much of that he paid to recruits, I don't know. But he got paid an awful lot of money during this time while this NCAA investigation played out. What I would say really quick in terms of LSU, it's going to be a fascinating few months at LSU, okay? And I'll tell you why. First of all, believe it or not, and you can criticize other fan bases. We all criticize each other, right? Part of being a fan. Kentucky fans and Tennessee fans go at each other. Arkansas and LSU fans, Texas and Texas Tech fans, whatever. this LSU thing is going to be really interesting because, one, I can tell you definitively, the fan base did not support the firing of Will Wade. The fan base actually loved Will Wade because, as I said on a show a week ago, Will Wade, for all the criticism, was actually a pretty good coach. And you can argue about paying players and cheating and this and that, but once you get them to campus, you still got to get them to play. And guess what? Will Wade did a good job of that. 2019 wins the SEC, goes to the Sweet 16. 2020 would have made the NCAA tournament. Last year made the NCAA tournament. This year made the NCAA tournament. His final 4 years, he had an NCAA tournament caliber team. And you can make fun of him, and you can this and you can that. Here's the bottom line. History tells us LSU has never really been this good over this long of a stretch prior to Will Wade in a long time. The last time that LSU made 4 straight NCAA tournaments was when Shaq was on campus from 1990 to 1993, okay? So this idea that it's a birthright for LSU to get to the NCAA tournament every year, it's simply not true, and so this fan base simply wasn't behind it. What's going to be more fascinating is what's going forward, and there's 2 different things. First of all, who the heck is going to take this LSU job? Now, somebody is going to take it because there's only so many jobs in college basketball that are going to pay you $3, $4, $5 million a year, okay? And LSU can pay that because they don't owe Will Wade anything. But at the same time, this idea, and I was the number 1 Scott Woodward supporter, their AD, during the football search, where I said, look, this guy's fearless, he's aggressive, he went and got Kim Mulkey from Baylor, he's going to get a big name in football. I don't think he can do that in basketball. Who is going to leave a good job in college basketball to come to LSU for a program that is probably going to have major violations, probably at least 1 postseason ban, maybe more? I don't know. And that's what's going to make this interesting. This hire very interesting. I don't know who they can possibly get. I don't know who could potentially be next. But I don't think, I see these reports, and trust me, I talk to people too. It's not just other reporters saying this. So people are like, well, maybe Scott Drew. There's rumors that he's unhappy at Baylor, or that the rumor of Scott Drew really is that he's uncertain about the Big 12's future and maybe trying to get out. You think Scott Drew's leaving a school he just won the national championship for a program that is going to get crushed with NCAA sanctions in LSU? I don't think it happens. Maybe I'm dead wrong. I've been dead wrong before. I don't see it happening. I don't see any coach that has a real job coming into this SEC right now under major NCAA violations. By the way, coming off a really successful run. Now, I think they can get a successful mid-major coach. I think the guy at North Texas may be a real candidate. I don't see the scenario where somebody great leaves for this job. The other thing that I would say really quickly about the LSU situation, it's going to be fascinating to watch the players in this program and what the future holds. First of all, they're probably going to lose just a couple guys to the pros because they're good. Tari Eason is going to be a first-round pick, so it probably makes sense that he is not going to be back at LSU next year. Xavier Pinson is a senior. I know he has the extra COVID year because of COVID. I don't expect him to be back. Same with Darius Days. But you start to look at this roster. Brandon Murray, really good freshman this year, averaged 10 points per game. He's not an NBA player. He's going to be in the portal. Eric Gaines, really good backup point guard. He's going to be in the portal. He could start at most places. He was a backup this year. He could start at most places. Efton Reed, former top 20 recruit, thought to be a one and done. Didn't look like a one and done to me. Does he go in the portal? Alex Fudge, Justice Williams, another highly ranked player. Surprise, surprise. Mwani Wilkinson, really good player as well. So that's going to be the interesting part. LSU plays in the NCAA tournament come next Monday, Tuesday. If they're out, I could see a mass exodus into the portal. By the way, LSU has 2 top 15 recruits that were supposed to come in. Julian Phillips and Johan Traore. Fascinating to see what happens with their recruitments. I do not expect LSU. I expect them to lose a lot. I don't think guys are going to want to stay in the post-Will Wade era. And because of it, I will just be fascinated to see what happens to this program from here.